The transport shuttle docked with Orbital Station Harmony 7 with a soft hiss. Daeho gathered his daughter's bag with one hand while holding Hana with the other. The 3-year-old pressed her face against the window, her eyes wide with wonder at the massive station floating in space. "Papa, look! It's so big!" Hana squealed, her small hands leaving prints on the glass. Daeho smiled despite his nervousness. He had not planned to bring his daughter to one of the most important diplomatic missions of his career. His sister was supposed to watch Hana, but she fell ill yesterday. There was no time to find another person. The trade negotiations with the Quellan Federation could not wait. "Yes, sweetheart. Very big. Now remember what Papa told you. Stay close to me, okay?" Hana nodded, her black hair bouncing. She clutched her stuffed rabbit tighter. The airlock opened, and they stepped into the station. Daeho had visited Harmony 7 twice before, but it never stopped being incredible. The main corridor stretched ahead like a metal canyon. Aliens of every shape and size moved through the space. Some walked on 2 legs like humans. Others floated, crawled, or moved in ways that hurt to watch. A tall reptilian creature passed them, its scales shimmering under the lights. Hana gasped and hid behind her father's leg. "It's okay," Daeho whispered. "They won't hurt you." He hoped that was true. Humans had joined the galactic community only 15 years ago. Most alien species still saw them as newcomers. Some were friendly. Others looked at humans like they were primitive animals who got lucky with space travel. Ambassador Yuna waited for them near the security checkpoint. She was a stern woman in her 40s, wearing the formal black uniform of Earth's diplomatic corps. Her face showed concern when she saw Hana. "Daeho, I got your message. I wish you had more time to find proper care for her." "I know, Ambassador. I'm sorry. But I couldn't miss these negotiations. The Quellan trade routes could change everything for Earth's outer colonies." Yuna sighed. "I understand. But this station is not designed for children. There are over 40 different species here. Some don't even understand what a human child is. I'll keep her close." Jiwoo said he could help watch her during the main sessions. As if summoned by his name, Jiwoo appeared from around a corner. The young security liaison grinned when he saw Hana. "There's my favorite little diplomat." Jiwoo knelt down to Hana's level. "Are you going to help your papa today?" Hana giggled and nodded shyly. "Jiwoo, thank you for offering to help," Daeho said. "I know it's not part of your job." "Are you kidding? I'd rather play with Hana than deal with another Vrelian complaint about our security protocols." Jiwoo stood up, his smile fading slightly. "Speaking of which, we have more Vrelian guards on station this week. They're here for some military trade talks. Try to avoid them if you can." Daeho knew about the Vrelians. They were an insectoid species that controlled a huge part of the galaxy. They looked like massive mantises, with 4 arms and heads that could rotate completely around. More importantly, they believed in strict hierarchy. To them, showing emotion was weakness. They especially hated that humans brought family bonds into their professional lives. "I'll be careful," Daeho promised. They moved through security. The scanners beeped as they passed through. A security officer, a blob-like creature whose name Daeho could not pronounce, waved them forward with what might have been a tentacle. "Daeho, one more thing," Yuna said as they walked. "Where is Luna?" "In our quarters. I know the rules. No shadow panthers in the diplomatic zones." "Good. The last thing we need is other species panicking about a predator loose on the station." Hana tugged her father's sleeve. "Papa, where is Luna? I want Luna." "Luna is resting, sweet. You'll see her later." The little girl pouted but did not argue. They reached the diplomatic wing of the station. This area was quieter, with thick doors and serious-looking guards. The walls were a soft blue color meant to be calming to most species. Soft music played from hidden speakers, a mix of sounds from different worlds. Yuna led them to a large waiting room. Inside were comfortable chairs, screens showing cartoons from Earth, and boxes of toys. It was one of the few child-friendly spaces on the station. "The preliminary meeting starts in 20 minutes, Yuna said. "It should only last an hour. Can she stay here?" Daeho looked around the room. It had a transparent barrier facing the corridor, so people could see in and out. Security cameras covered every angle. There was only one door, and it locked from the inside. Hana, can you be a good girl and play here while Papa works? Will Jiwoo stay? Hana asked. Jiwoo knelt down again. I'll check on you lots. Okay? And if you need anything, press this button. He showed her a small device on the wall. It calls me directly. Hana considered this seriously, then nodded. Okay, but come back fast. Daeho set up her tablet with her favorite shows and spread out some toys. He kissed the top of her head. I love you, sweetheart. Be good. Love you, Papa. As they left the room, Daeho looked back. Hana was already distracted by a cartoon about talking animals. He felt guilty leaving her, but the waiting room was safe. Nothing could happen. The meeting room was down the hall. Inside, several Quellan diplomats waited. They were tall, thin beings with skin like silver. They communicated partly through color changes in their skin. Daeho had studied their language for months. The negotiations began well. The Quellans wanted Earth's agricultural technology. Humans wanted access to their trade routes through the outer sectors. It was a fair exchange. But as always with diplomacy, nothing was simple. Every detail needed discussion. Every term needed clarification. 1 hour became 2, then 3. In the waiting room, Hana grew bored. She had watched all her shows. She had played with all the toys. She wandered to the transparent barrier and looked out at the corridor. Aliens walked past. Some glanced at her with curiosity. Others ignored her completely. Then a Vrelian guard appeared. His name was Therex, though Hana did not know that. She only saw a huge creature that looked like a giant bug, walking on 2 legs. He was over 7 feet tall with dark green armor covering his body. His 4 arms each carried different weapons or tools. His head turned, and multiple eyes focused on the little girl. Hana waved at him. It was what she did. She waved at everyone. Therex stopped walking. He stared at the human child through the barrier. His mandibles clicked together in what might have been disgust. He stepped closer to the barrier. Hana smiled at him, thinking he wanted to be friends. She had no idea what was about to happen. Back in the meeting room, Daeho felt a strange sensation in his chest. It was like a cold touch on his heart. He shook his head, trying to focus on the Quellan diplomat speaking, but the feeling did not go away. Something was wrong. In their quarters 3 levels below, Luna lifted her massive head. The Shadow Panther's golden eyes opened wide. Her ears turned toward the ceiling. She smelled fear. She smelled Hana's fear. Luna stood up. All 850 pounds of muscle and fury rose from the floor. Her lips pulled back from her teeth. Someone was threatening her family. That could not be allowed. Therex had been having a terrible day. Actually, he had been having a terrible year. Once he had been a commander in the Vrelian Imperial Fleet. He had led ships into battle. Other species feared his name. But one mistake, one failed mission, and he was stripped of his rank. Now he was a simple guard on a diplomatic station, watching over soft species who talked instead of fought. He hated it. He especially hated humans. These weak creatures had only just learned to travel between stars, yet the galaxy treated them like equals. They brought their emotions everywhere. They cared about their families. They even brought animals with them into space like children with pets. Pathetic. And now one of their larvae stood before him, staring at him through the barrier. The child waved her tiny hand at him. She was smiling. Did she not know who he was? Did she not understand that he could crush her with one hand? Therex clicked his mandibles together, making a sharp sound. The child jumped slightly but kept smiling. She thought it was a game. He moved closer to the barrier. The child pressed her hands against the glass on her side. Her small face looked up at him with curiosity, not fear. This made Therex angry. She should fear him. He raised one of his 4 arms and tapped hard on the barrier. The sound was loud. The child pulled her hands back, her smile fading. Good. Another guard was passing by. His name was Vix, a Quellan who Therex considered barely worth noticing. Vix stopped when he saw what Therex was doing. "Guard Therex, perhaps you should move along. That is Ambassador Yuna's waiting area." Therex turned his head to look at Vix. "I am patrolling. This is my duty. Frightening a child is not your duty." "I am not frightening. I am observing. Is that not allowed?" Vix's skin flickered with orange colors, showing concern. But he said nothing more. In the galactic hierarchy, Quellans ranked below Vrelians. Vix could not give Therex orders. Therex turned back to the child. She was backing away from the barrier now, holding her stuffed rabbit. Her eyes were getting wet. Humans leaked water from their eyes when they were upset. Another sign of weakness. He tapped on the barrier again, harder this time. The child jumped. She made a small sound of distress. Therex felt satisfaction. Finally, the appropriate response. He accessed his wrist computer and activated the communication panel near the barrier. His voice came through the speakers into the waiting room, translated into human language. "Little human, do you know what I am?" The child did not answer. She backed up until she hit the wall. "I am Vrelian. We ruled the stars when your species was still living in caves. We have conquered 50 worlds. What have humans conquered? Nothing. You are weak. You bring your babies to space like it is safe. It is not safe. Space is for the strong." The child started crying now. Real tears ran down her face. She called out for her father. This made Therex feel even better. He was teaching this human child a lesson. The galaxy was not kind. The galaxy did not care about soft emotions. Vix stepped forward again. "Therex, stop this now. You are tormenting a child." "I am doing nothing. I am talking." "Is talking forbidden?" "You know what you are doing. Her father is Diplomat Deho. If he complains, let him complain. What will happen? Nothing. I am behind a barrier. I am not touching the child. I am simply speaking truth." Therex activated his wrist computer again. He pulled up images from the Vrelian database. Holographic projections appeared on the barrier, visible to the child inside. They were images of Vrelian predators from his home world, giant creatures with too many teeth and claws. Then he showed images of Vrelian warriors in battle, their weapons firing, their enemies falling. The child screamed. She screamed for her papa. She screamed for someone named Luna. She backed into a corner, clutching her rabbit so hard it seemed it might break. Other aliens in the corridor were stopping now. Some looked concerned. Others looked away, not wanting to get involved. A few actually seemed amused. Therex continued. "This is what strength looks like, little human. Your kind will never be strong. You are too soft, too emotional. You will always be prey." The child was sobbing now, her whole body shaking. Therex felt proud of himself. Let the humans see that their way of life was wrong. Let them learn. Security alarms started beeping. The sensors detected the child's elevated heart rate and stress levels. But Therex simply accessed the system and dismissed them. He had security clearance. He marked them as false alarms. Vix was speaking urgently into his communication device now, trying to reach someone in authority. But authority was slow on Harmony 7. There were protocols, forms to fill, complaints to file. The child would suffer until then. Therex leaned close to the barrier, his multiple eyes fixed on the crying child. "Perhaps your father should not have brought you here. Perhaps humans should stay on their little planet where it is safe. You do not belong among us." He broadcast his words on the open channel so other species could hear. "This is what the humans bring to our station. Weak creatures that leak fluids when scared. They call themselves diplomats, but they cannot even protect their own offspring." A few aliens in the corridor clicked or chirped in what might have been agreement. Others hurried away, uncomfortable with the scene. The child had stopped screaming. She was making small, broken sounds now. Her face was red and covered with tears. She had dropped her rabbit and was hugging herself in the corner. Therex felt he had made his point. He would leave soon. Let the child remember this lesson. Let her tell her father, Let all humans know that they were not welcome among the strong. But then something strange happened. The lights in the corridor flickered. Just for a moment, but Therex noticed. The temperature seemed to drop. He could see his breath misting slightly in the air, which should not be possible. The station's climate control was perfect. The other aliens in the corridor were looking around nervously. Some were backing away, though they did not seem to know why. Therex was about to turn away from the barrier when he saw something in the reflection of the glass. Behind him, in the shadows where the flickering lights did not quite reach, there were 2 points of light. Golden light. Like eyes. He turned slowly, his forearms reaching for his weapons out of instinct. The corridor behind him looked empty, but the temperature was still too cold. And now he could hear something. A sound so low it was almost below hearing. A vibration in the air that made his insides feel strange. It was a growl. Therex accessed his scanner, checking for life signs. The device beeped, then showed an error. Too much interference. But that was impossible. The station systems were clean. He looked up at the ceiling. One of the ventilation grates was open. It should not be open. Those grates required special tools to remove. Something had opened it from the inside. Therex felt something he had not felt in a long time. Not since his days in combat. It was a feeling he thought he had forgotten. Fear. The shadows at the end of the corridor seemed darker than they should be. And in those shadows, the golden eyes appeared again. Closer now. Much closer. Vic saw them too. His skin flashed bright yellow, the Quellan color for danger. He started backing away, speaking quickly into his communicator. Security! We have a code red in Corridor 12. Something is... The lights went completely out for 3 seconds. When they came back on, Luna was standing in the middle of the corridor. She was massive, bigger than Therex had imagined any Earth animal could be. Her black fur seemed to absorb the light around her, making her look like a hole in reality. Her eyes glowed with that terrible golden light. Her mouth was closed, but he could see the shape of her teeth beneath her lips. She was utterly silent. Therex tried to speak, but his mandibles would not work properly. His translator finally kicked in, and his words came out weak. How did you... This area is restricted. Predators are not allowed. Luna did not make a sound. She simply took one step forward, then another. Each movement was perfectly controlled, perfectly silent. She was walking toward him, and Therex realized that the child in the waiting room was no longer crying. She was calling out a name. Luna! Luna! I'm here! Luna had been sleeping when the fear hit her. It was not her own fear, it was Hana's fear, flowing through the bond that connected them like an invisible thread across space and time. The bond that humans and Shadow Panthers shared was not fully understood, even by the scientists who created them. But Luna understood it perfectly. Hana was afraid. Hana was crying. Someone was hurting her. That was all Luna needed to know. She had moved through the ventilation system of Harmony 7 like water flowing downhill. The station was designed for many species, which meant the air ducts were large. Luna's body, despite its size, was flexible. She squeezed through spaces that should have been impossible. She bypassed security sensors by moving so slowly that the motion detectors thought she was a shadow. When she reached locked grates, she simply used her claws. The metal was strong, but her claws were stronger. Now she stood in Corridor 12, facing the creature who had hurt Hana. Luna did not know what Avrelian was. She did not know about galactic politics or diplomatic protocols. She only knew that this insect thing had made Hana cry, had made her scream, had terrorized a 3-year-old child who could not defend herself. This would not stand. Therex was backing away from her, his forearms fumbling with the weapons on his belt. Luna watched him with complete calm. She was not angry. Anger was sloppy. Anger made mistakes. Luna was simply focused. She took another step forward. Her paws made no sound on the metal floor. Therex finally managed to pull out a plasma pistol. His hand was shaking. "Stay back. I am authorized to use force against unauthorized predators." Luna's lips pulled back slightly, showing the edges of her teeth. Each tooth was as long as a human thumb. Her jaw could bite through metal, could crush bone like dry bread, could end Therex in one snap. But she did not attack. Instead, she moved to the side, positioning herself between Therex and the waiting room. Between the threat and Hana. In the waiting room, Hana was pressing against the barrier now, her tears stopping. "Luna! Good Luna! Bad bugs scared me." The child's voice seemed to break something in Therex. He raised the plasma pistol with two of his hands, steadying his aim. "I warned you, beast!" Vix shouted from down the corridor. "Do not fire! The barrier is not plasma-proof. You will hurt the child." But Therex was beyond reason now. His pride had been shattered. A simple earth animal had frightened him. Him, a Vrelian warrior. He could not allow this humiliation. Luna saw him aim, saw his fingers tighten on the trigger. Her muscles bunched. The plasma bolt fired. Luna moved faster than Therex could track. She was not where the bolt passed through. She was already in the air, her 850 pounds of muscle and fury launching forward. But she did not go for Therex. She went for the barrier controls. Her claws struck the panel with surgical precision. Sparks flew. The barrier's lock clicked open. Hana pushed the door and it swung wide. The little girl ran out, her small legs carrying her as fast as they could. Luna landed between her and Therex, her body low to the ground, her tail lashing. Hana threw her arms around Luna's front leg. The Shadow Panther was so large that the child could barely reach around. "Luna, you came. You saved me from the bad bug." Luna made a sound then. It started deep in her chest and rose through her throat. It was not quite a growl and not quite a roar. It was something older than language, something that spoke to the most primitive part of every living creature's brain. It said, "I am the predator. You are the prey." Every alien in the corridor felt it in their bones. Therex stumbled backward, dropping his plasma pistol. His mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of extreme distress in his species. He was trying to activate his emergency beacon, calling for backup. Station alarms were screaming now. Red lights flashed on every wall. Security teams were mobilizing, but they were minutes away, and minutes might as well be years. Luna could have killed Therex in those minutes. She was faster than him, stronger than him, more lethal than any weapon he carried. He knew it. She knew it. Everyone watching knew it. But Luna did not kill him. She simply stood there, with Hana hugging her leg, staring at Therex with those burning golden eyes. She was showing him what mercy looked like. She was showing him that she chose not to kill him. That was so much worse than any wound. Footsteps echoed through the corridor. Heavy footsteps. Multiple people running. Deho burst into view first. His face was pale, his breath coming in gasps. He had run all the way from the meeting room, that cold feeling in his chest growing into panic. When he saw Hana, his knees nearly gave out. "Hana, baby!" Jiwoo was right behind him, his hand on his sidearm but not drawing it. His eyes took in the scene instantly. Hana safe, Luna protecting her. Therex weaponless and terrified. Ambassador Yuna appeared next. Moving remarkably fast for a woman her age, her face showed shock, then anger as she saw the plasma burn on the wall near the waiting room. Then came Krill, the station security chief. He was a massive reptilian with scales like armor. He carried a weapon capable of stunning even a Shadow Panther. His eyes moved from Luna to Therex to Hana and back. More Vrelians arrived. 5 of them, all armed, all wearing military armor. They formed a line, their weapons pointed at Luna. "The beast attacked Guard Therex," one of them shouted. "It must be destroyed." Deho moved then. He walked straight to Luna and Hana, placing himself between his daughter and the Vrelian weapons. His hands were steady as he knelt down beside them. "Hana, are you hurt?" "The bad bug scared me, Papa. He showed me scary pictures." Luna made him stop. Deho's jaw tightened. He looked at Therex, and there was something in his eyes that made the Vrelian take another step back. It was not anger. It was colder than anger. Jiwoo was already pulling up security footage on his tablet. His fingers moved quickly across the screen. Ambassador, you need to see this. Yuna took the tablet. Her face grew darker with each passing second as she watched. She saw Therex approach the barrier, saw him torment a crying child, saw him dismiss the security alarms, saw him fire his weapon. She looked up at the Vrelian guards. Lower your weapons, now. The beast is a registered companion animal who responded to a threat against her bonded human's family. Your guard terrorized a 3-year-old child and then fired a weapon in a civilian area. Lower your weapons. Krill stepped forward. His voice was deep and calm. She is right. I have reviewed the footage as well. Luna did not attack. She defended. There is a difference. One of the Vrelian guards moved forward. Therex, is this true? Did you torment a child? Therex's mandibles clicked rapidly. I was teaching her a lesson. Humans need to learn their place. They bring weakness to the station. By frightening a baby? Jiwoo's voice was soft, but there was steel underneath. That is what you call strength? Daeho finally spoke. His voice was quiet, but everyone heard it. Luna, Gwenchana, Hananan Anjane. It's okay. Hana is safe. Luna's ears twitched. She looked up at Daeho, her golden eyes meeting his. She made a small sound, almost like a question. Yes, I know. You did good, but we are safe now. Luna sat down slowly. She kept her eyes on Therex, but her body relaxed. Hana climbed up onto Luna's back, hugging her neck. The massive predator and the tiny child looked like they belonged together, like they were two parts of the same whole. Therex stared at them. His mind was struggling to understand what he was seeing. The beast obeyed the human, not out of fear, not because of weapons or chains. It obeyed because it chose to, because they were family. Ambassador Yuna walked forward until she stood directly in front of Therex. She was less than half his size, but somehow she seemed taller than him. You wanted to teach a lesson about strength and weakness, she said. I think you are the one who learned today. Therex said nothing. More people were arriving now. Diplomats, officials, station administrators. The corridor was filling with witnesses. And Luna sat calmly in the middle of it all, with Hana on her back, showing the galaxy what humanity really was. The conference room was packed. Beings from 20 different species crowded around the long table. Some sat, some stood, some floated. The air was thick with tension and the smell of too many different life forms in one enclosed space. Daeho sat at one end of the table with Hana asleep in his arms. The little girl had finally crashed after all the excitement and fear. Her face was still puffy from crying, her small hand clutching her father's shirt even in sleep. Luna lay on the floor beside them. Her massive body took up a significant amount of space, but no one complained. Every time someone looked at her, she looked back with those golden eyes, and they remembered what they had seen in Corridor 12. Ambassador Yuna stood at the front of the room, a screen behind her showing the security footage. She played it again for the third time. Every species in the room could see what happened. There was no denying it, no spinning it. The Vrelian delegation sat on the opposite side of the table. There were 7 of them, all in formal diplomatic armor. Their leader was named Kreshna, a high commander with battle honors spanning 3 wars. His mandibles were still, his multiple eyes unreadable. When the footage ended, Kreshna spoke. His words were translated through everyone's devices. What Guard Therex did was wrong. We acknowledge this. He will be disciplined. But this does not change the fact that a dangerous predator was loose on this station. That Shadow Panthers were not properly disclosed to the galactic community. Ambassador Yuna nodded slowly. You are right that we did not fully disclose Shadow Panther capabilities. Would you like to know why? Enlighten us. Yuna pressed a button and the screen changed. It showed documents, reports, scientific papers. Shadow Panthers were created 20 years ago from a combination of extinct Earth predators, panthers, saber-toothed cats, ancient hunters. The genetic engineering took 10 years. The bonding process took another 5. They were designed for one purpose, to protect human colonists on dangerous worlds. She pressed another button. New images appeared. But something unexpected happened. The Shadow Panthers did not just protect, they chose. Out of 100 humans, a Shadow Panther might bond with only one. And once bonded, that connection is for life. They become family. Krishna's head tilted. This is what you call strength? Emotional attachment? Deho spoke for the first time since the meeting began. His voice was quiet but clear. Yes. The room went silent. That is exactly what we call strength, Deho continued. You look at Luna and see a weapon. We look at her and see family. You think that makes us weak. But consider this. Luna bypassed your security systems. She moved through your station without being detected until she chose to be seen. She disarmed a trained guard without killing him, even though she easily could have. She did all of this not because she was ordered to, but because she wanted to. Because someone she loves was in danger. He gently adjusted Hana in his arms. The little girl stirred, but did not wake. Tharek said humans are soft, that we are weak, that we bring our emotions to space like children with toys. He is right about one thing. We do bring our emotions. We bring our families. We bring our bonds. But we also bring creatures like Luna. And unlike your weapons, our companions do not need maintenance. They do not need fuel. They do not need orders. They act because they love. Because they have chosen us, and we have chosen them. Jiwoo stood up, his tablet in hand. With the ambassador's permission, I would like to share some data. Yuna nodded. Jiwoo's fingers danced across his tablet. The screen changed again. This is the Quellan colony ship Bright Dream. 6 months ago, it suffered a catastrophic reactor leak. Their sensors did not detect it until it was almost too late. But there were 3 human families on that ship, along with their Shadow Panthers. The Panthers detected the radiation leak 40 minutes before any sensor. They refused to let their bonded humans near the engineering section. When the humans investigated why, they found the problem and fixed it. All 400 Quellans on that ship are alive because Shadow Panthers can sense danger that technology cannot. A Quellan diplomat at the table rose. Her skin flickered with colors. This is true. I was on the Bright Dream. The humans and their companions saved us. We owe them a debt. Krishna's mandibles clicked. One incident. Would you like more? Jiwoo pulled up more files. There are 17 documented cases in the past 3 years where Shadow Panthers have detected dangers before any technology. Structural failures, atmospheric leaks. Even a case where a Shadow Panther detected a Vrelian spy trying to poison a human diplomat's food. That caused a stir. The Vrelian delegation shifted uncomfortably. Ambassador Yuna took control again. The galactic community has built its power on domination. The strong rule the weak. That is your way, and it has worked for you. But humanity took a different path. For thousands of years, we have survived not by dominating other species, but by partnering with them. We turned wild wolves into loyal dogs. We partnered with horses to cross continents. We befriended cats, who were never truly tamed, but chose to live with us anyway. And now, we have Shadow Panthers. She walked around the table slowly, making eye contact with different species. You fear what you do not understand. You see a predator and think weapon. We see a predator and think family. You believe emotions make us weak. We know emotions make us stronger because they give us something to fight for. Krill, the security chief, finally spoke. There is another matter to address. Luna bypassed our security. If one Shadow Panther can do it, others can too. That is a security risk. Deho looked down at Luna. The Shadow Panther's ears twitched, but she did not move. Luna did not hack your systems. She did not use technology. She used ventilation shafts. The same shafts that maintenance workers use. The same shafts that any creature small enough and strong enough could use. Your security did not fail. Luna simply understood the station better than you thought possible. She is not just a predator. She is intelligent. How intelligent? Krill asked. Show them, Ambassador Yuna said. Jiwoo pulled out a puzzle cube. It was a device used to test problem-solving skills in various species. He placed it on the floor in front of Luna. Luna looked at it, then at Daeho. "It is okay, Luna. Show them." Luna stood up slowly. She approached the cube, sniffed it once, then began manipulating it with her paws. The cube had sections that twisted and turned. Most species took several minutes to solve it. Luna solved it in 43 seconds. The room was completely silent. Luna returned to her position next to Hana and lay down again. Krishna leaned back in his chair. "I see. This is not just a trained animal. This is something else. This is what humanity brings to the galaxy," Daeho said. "Not just our technology, not just our ships. We bring partnerships, we bring bonds, and yes, we bring danger to anyone who threatens our families." Luna did not attack Therex because I ordered her to. She did not even attack him at all. She simply put herself between him and Hana. That is what family does. An older diplomat from a species called the Trill spoke up. Their voice was like wind through leaves. "The Vrelians demand justice. But what justice do they seek? The child was harmed. The guardian protected. Where is the crime?" Krishna's mandibles opened to respond, but another Vrelian at the table placed a hand on his arm. This one was older, with scars across his carapace. He spoke in the Vrelian language, and everyone's translators converted it. "Commander Krishna, perhaps we have been hasty." "Hasty? They brought a predator that could have killed, but did not. Could have, did not. This human speaks truth. The beast had opportunity, had reason. It was attacked first, yet it chose restraint." The scarred Vrelian looked at Luna with what might have been respect. "That is not weakness. That is control. Control is strength." Krishna was silent for a long moment. Then he stood. "What happened to guard Therex?" Ambassador Yuna consulted her tablet. "He has been remanded to Vrelian custody, as per diplomatic protocols. What you do with him is your concern. He will face court-martial. What he did? It was not honorable. He terrorized a defenseless child. That is not the Vrelian way. Or it should not be." There was a long pause. Then Krishna did something unexpected. He performed a Vrelian bow, which involved lowering his head and crossing all four arms. The Vrelian delegation apologizes to diplomat Daeho and his family. What was done to the child was wrong. We take responsibility. Daeho stood carefully, still holding Hana. "I accept your apology, but understand this. Hana will remember what happened today. Luna will remember. And every human who hears this story will remember. We do not seek war. We do not seek conquest, but we protect our own. Always." Luna's eyes glowed slightly brighter, as if emphasizing the point. 3 days had passed since the incident. The Galactic Council had been in emergency session for most of that time. Daeho sat in the observation gallery, watching the proceedings on the massive screens. Hana was with Jiwoo, playing in a much more secure area. Luna was beside Daeho, as she had been constantly since that day. The council chamber was immense. Representatives from over 100 species sat in rings that curved upward toward the ceiling. At the center was the speaker, a being so old that no one remembered which species it originally belonged to. It had transcended its physical form long ago and now existed as energy and light. The speaker's voice filled the chamber like gentle thunder. "The question before the council is simple. Should humanity be sanctioned for bringing undisclosed weapons of war to galactic space? And should Shadow Panthers be classified as illegal weapons?" A representative from the Hive Collective spoke first. They were insectoid creatures that thought as one mind. "We vote yes. Humans have proven they cannot be trusted. They hide the capabilities of their companions. What else are they hiding?" Another voice, this one from the aquatic Nereids. "We disagree. The footage shows restraint, not aggression. The Shadow Panther protected but did not kill. That shows discipline." The debate went on for hours. Daeho watched and listened. He had already given his testimony. Now it was up to the council. Ambassador Yuna sat beside him. "This could go either way," she whispered. I know. If they rule against us, we will have to give up the Shadow Panthers, or leave the galactic community. Daeho's hand rested on Luna's head. Her fur was warm under his palm. Then we leave. Daeho, I am serious. We will not abandon them. They chose us. We chose them. That means something. Down in the chamber, a new voice spoke up. It was Vix, the Quellan guard who had witnessed everything. He stood at the speaker's platform, his skin flickering with nervous colors. Honored Council, I was there. I saw what happened. Guard Therex tortured a child. He made her scream. He made her cry. And when her protector came, he tried to kill it. The Shadow Panther had every right to tear him apart, but she did not. She showed mercy. If that is what weapons do, then we need more weapons like that in the galaxy. A rumble of conversation spread through the chamber. Then, the Quellan ambassador stood. The Quellan Federation wishes to speak. The speaker acknowledged her with a wave of light. 6 months ago, the colony ship Bright Dream nearly died. Humans and their Shadow Panthers saved every soul on that ship. We told no one because we were embarrassed. How could our technology fail when simple animals succeeded? But they are not simple. They are remarkable. And the humans who bond with them are equally remarkable. The Quellan Federation votes no to sanctions. We vote to recognize Shadow Panthers as legitimate companions, not weapons. More murmuring, more debate. A delegate from the Mining Guild stood. We have worked with human miners for 2 years. Several have Shadow Panthers. These creatures detect structural weaknesses in mines before our sensors do. They have saved dozens of lives. We vote no to sanctions. One by one, species began to speak. Some supported humans. Others were still suspicious. The debate stretched into the second day. On the evening of the second day, something unexpected happened. The Vrelian delegation requested to speak. Commander Kreshna stood at the speaker's platform. His armor gleamed under the chamber lights. The Vrelian Empire has long believed that strength comes from domination, from hierarchy, from power. We have built an empire on these principles. He paused, his mandibles clicking slowly. But we have witnessed something that challenges this belief. We have seen strength in mercy, power in restraint. And most surprising of all, we have seen a predator choose not to kill when it easily could have. The chamber was completely silent now. Guard Therex was wrong. He brought shame to our empire. But more than that, he revealed a truth we have been avoiding. The galaxy is changing. New species are joining us. New ways of thinking. And perhaps there is more than one kind of strength. Kreshna looked directly at the observation gallery where Daeho sat. The Vrelian Empire votes no to sanctions. We vote to recognize Shadow Panthers as legitimate companions. And we offer a formal apology to humanity for the pain we caused. Daeho felt something in his chest loosen. Luna's tail swished once, as if she understood. The speaker let the silence stretch for a moment, then spoke. The vote will be tallied, but I believe we can already see the outcome. The Council recognizes that humanity has brought something new to our community. Not just technology, not just ships, but a different way of being, a way of partnering with other species rather than dominating them. The vote was called. When it finished, 73 species voted against sanctions. Only 12 voted for them. The rest abstained. The speaker's light brightened. It is decided. Shadow Panthers are recognized as legitimate companion animals. Humanity will provide full disclosure of their capabilities to the galactic database. In return, other species will respect the bonds between humans and their companions. Ambassador Yuna grabbed Daeho's hand and squeezed it. We did it. Luna did it, Daeho corrected. But there was more. The speaker was still talking. Additionally, the Council wishes to propose a new treaty, the Human Companion Protocol. Any species that wishes to learn from humanity's methods may do so. We believe there is much the galaxy can learn from the way humans form bonds. This caused an uproar. Some species were excited, others were horrified. The idea that they could learn from the newcomer species was shocking to many, but the seed was planted. 4 days later, Daeho and Hana prepared to leave Harmony 7. The trade negotiations had finished. In fact, they had gone better than expected. The Quellans had offered more favorable terms, grateful for the Bright Dream rescue being publicly acknowledged. Other species had approached Earth's delegation with new trade proposals. Jiwoo helped them pack. "You are famous now, you know. The whole galaxy is talking about the human and his shadow panther." Daeho smiled. "I just wanted to keep my daughter safe." That is what makes the story so powerful. You were not trying to make a statement. You were just being a father. They walked through the station toward the docking bay. Aliens stopped to watch them pass. But it was different now. They were not looking with contempt or amusement. They were looking with curiosity, with respect. Some even with something like hope. At the docking bay, Vix was waiting. The Quellan guard's skin was a peaceful blue. "Diplomat Daeho, I wanted to say goodbye, and thank you." "Thank me? For what?" "For showing us something we needed to see. That strength comes in many forms." Hana was riding on Luna's back, giggling as the Shadow Panther walked carefully to avoid jostling her. An alien child, a small furry creature whose species Daeho did not know, approached shyly. "Is your panther really nice?" the child asked in translated speech. Hana nodded seriously. "Luna is the bestest. She protects me from bad bugs, but she is nice to good people." The alien child's parent watched nervously but did not pull their child away. That was progress. On the shuttle back to Earth, Hana fell asleep quickly. The excitement of the past week had exhausted her. Luna curled up on the floor, her massive body taking up most of the cargo area. Daeho sat in the pilot seat, watching the stars. His communicator beeped. A message from Ambassador Yuna. "Good news. 15 more families with Shadow Panthers have been approved for diplomatic service. The Council wants more humans and companions in various locations. They want to learn from us. Can you believe it?" Daeho could believe it. He had seen the way the galaxy looked at them now. Fear was giving way to curiosity. Contempt was giving way to respect. He thought about what Therex had said. That humans were weak, that they brought their emotions and their families to space like it was safe. Therex was right about one thing. They did bring their families. They brought their love. They brought their bonds. But he was wrong about weakness. The galaxy was learning what it meant when humanity said, "We protect our own." They were learning that compassion and capability were not opposites. They were learning that a species that could turn wolves into dogs, that could befriend cats, that could bond with apex predators, was not soft. They were learning that humanity had conquered Earth not through domination, but through partnership. And now they were bringing that philosophy to the stars. Daeho looked back at Hana sleeping peacefully, Luna's head resting near her. This was humanity's strength, not their weapons, not their ships, but their ability to form bonds that transcended species, that transcended logic, that transcended everything except love and loyalty. The galaxy had spent millennia believing that power came from standing alone at the top. Humanity was teaching them a different lesson. That true power came from standing together. And the galaxy was finally ready to listen. Luna's eyes opened briefly, glowing golden in the dim light. She looked at Daeho, and he looked back. No words were needed. The bond said everything. They were family. They would always be family. And anyone who threatened that would learn what humans and their companions could really do. The stars stretched out before them as the shuttle headed home. Behind them, Harmony 7 grew smaller. But the impact of what happened there would grow larger. The story would spread. Other species would hear about the human toddler and the shadow panther, about the guard who mocked and the predator who showed mercy. And slowly, carefully, the galaxy would begin to change. Because that was what humanity did best. They did not conquer, they did not dominate, they made friends. They formed families. They built bridges instead of walls. And sometimes, when necessary, those bridges were guarded by 850-pound shadow panthers with glowing golden eyes. The galaxy was learning, and humanity was just getting started.